So there are many scams which you may fall victim to, like the Cash App scams or Craigslist scams, but in my opinion, those scams are very minor scams. You may lose a couple $100s if you have so much to lose on Craigslist or in Cash App. There is another internet scam though where you could potentially lose every single thing in your bank accounts and also end up having your credit cards maxed out and your debit cards in overdraft, and this is one of the most dangerous scams around today. So in this video, I'll be telling you how scammers can easily trick you, even if you're the most careful person, into telling them what they need to know to gain access to your bank accounts, your PayPal accounts, your credit card online accounts, and so much more, where they can drain your accounts and how they're able to drain your accounts and then, just as in a magic show, poof, disappear with all your money without any of it being traceable. Now, first of all, before anybody comments and dislikes this video and complains about this content, on this channel, I talk about making money, ways to make money, especially for the average person making minimum wage or $15 an hour or less. And if you are one of these people, then the last thing you need is a scammer wiping out all your savings from your bank accounts, because even if you have $10,000, if you make $15,000 or if you make $15 or less per hour, then you would have to possibly spend an entire year saving or more before you could get that money back. Also, disclaimer, as in all my videos about scams, this information is for educational purposes only, and maybe some people may find entertainment in knowing this or how these scams work, but the main point of this video is to help you to avoid becoming a victim to any kind of scam. Now, if you try to replicate the scammer's success, chances are you'll not be so lucky and you'll end up in jail. So unless you don't mind being in jail, I would strongly suggest that you take this information and secure yourself from these scammers and not try to use it to rip people off in any way. Now, before I tell you about the worst scam on the internet today, a very quick reminder here: if you are new to this channel and you're watching one of my videos for the very first time, my name is Ian, and I post videos here on YouTube every single day on topics relating to making money and personal finance. So if you'd like to see more of these videos, then give this video a thumbs up. I'll really appreciate it. And also consider subscribing to this channel and turning on all the notifications. And that way you'll be able to get the updates every day when I post a new video here. Also, comment below and let me know about the worst internet scams that you've come across so far or that you've ever heard about. Now, this scam starts with a robocall. I get them all the time. The phone will ring and there will be a recording saying that you need to press 1 or press 2 or some other number to talk to a representative of Bank of America or Chase or whichever bank you use, and it's urgent and it involves your bank account. When the receiver of the call does it, it then takes them to the scammers. The scammers do this because it saves them time. See, they could call you and call 100 other people every day, but that's working a little too hard. So they have these automated systems and bots that do thousands of calls every single day for them. And then when someone actually decides to pick up and make contact, then they know they have a very good chance of ripping that person off. So now the scammer has their victims coming to them instead of them chasing their victims. The next part of the scam is where the money gets stolen. The scammer will tell you that your account was breached, but they were able to quickly detect it and remove the intruder's session to your bank account before any money was stolen. So now they will tell you that they need to verify your date of birth and your full name, and of course your social security number, which they don't really need, but they'll just ask you for all this information so they can either use it later on or they can sell it to other fraudsters on the dark web. So they'll ask you for all this information and you'll give it to them thinking that they're your bank, and then they will tell you that they're going to secure your account and they want to change your password for your online account. But in reality, the scammers are now using a VPN, which is a virtual private network that allows them to have an IP address corresponding with the country and city and even the same neighborhood that you live in. So if they didn't know this information when they ask you to verify your identity with your full name, your date of birth, They may also ask you to verify your address to ensure it matches with what they have on file. And they may even tell you some random address and you'll quickly say, no, that's not my address. And then they'll tell you that whoever breached your account made some changes and they'll put everything the way it was before with your help. So now you give them your address and then they will use the VPN to get an IP address in the same location that you are in. Now, this is a very, very important step for the scammers because if you travel, you know that when you go to a different country or even a different state or sometimes even a different city, your bank account won't log you in unless you receive a text message which has a verification code, because the bank detects that you're using an IP address that doesn't match your location, and this is to ensure that you are the one accessing your account. So the scammers will then go to your bank account's website and they'll go to sign in and they will either, one, already know your username, or two, if they don't know it, then they'll tell you that you should either verify it, and if you get suspicious, they'll tell you that your username is Andrew01, for example. So if your name is Larry and they tell you that your username on your account is Andrew01, then naturally you're going to tell them that that's wrong. And now using mind games, they will ask you what your username was before so they can put it back to being what it should be. Now in reality, your username never changed. So now you tell them your username was Larry01 instead of Andrew01, and in reality, what you just did was you told the scammers what your username is. So now they have the correct IP address, they're online using an IP address in your neighborhood, and they have your bank's online username. The only thing they need is the password to access your account. However, most banks will never ask you for your password online. So instead, these scammers may tell you that you need to reset your password. So the scammers will now tell you that they're going to reset your password for you and they're going to make it into some random password, and then you should sign into your bank account and change it to whatever you want. However, before they actually allow you to change that password, they want you to now complete some security procedures on your account, which is first changing your password so no one can hack your account again while they're working on it. They'll then hit the reset password button on your bank's website, sign in with your username, and of course the bank will now need some verification to reset that password. And the quickest way to reset an online account password is by answering some security questions or either getting a text message to your number. So now the scammers will tell you that as a routine part of this security update, they would like to reset your security questions to what they were before, because whoever accessed your account changed them, right? So they'll tell you that your security questions were changed to your first pet being Rex and you being born in Nigeria. And if none of this makes sense, then you'll quickly say no, and then they'll ask you what you want it to be, and then they'll set it back to what it needs to be, or at least that's what they're telling you. Now, if you're watching this video and you're following along, let me just say that I would never fall for this because I know much better, and many people probably wouldn't fall for this either, but these scammers prey on people who aren't good with technology, especially the old, and so these scams do actually work, and this is how they make hundreds of thousands of dollars every single day doing scams like this online. I wouldn't reply to the robocalls, and maybe you won't either, but someone somewhere will, and this makes it easier for the scammers because whoever actually takes the bait and responds to the robocalls most likely doesn't know of the dangers and will fall victim to this type of scam. Again, disclaimer, I do not recommend you try this or any other scam. You will end up in jail, and unless you want to be in jail, then you should only use this information to help to protect yourself and your family and friends from these types of scams. So back to our scammers. They will then have you tell them what your security questions were and the answers, because now you really think that someone hacked your account and changed all your information, and of course you want them to restore the account. So now they have your security questions, and the only thing the scammers now need for full access to your account is that verification code to change or reset your password. So they'll then tell you that they, impersonating the bank of course, will send you a verification code, and this code you'll have to tell them just to make sure that you are the account holder. And so they request the code from the bank's website using the VPN with your address, and you get this code and then you tell them the code. So the scammers now have your username and they've created a new password locking you out of your own account because they got your address and they're using the VPN, so the bank won't even realize that they're hacking your account because the bank will think it's you logging in as you normally do. Now, the scammers have access to your savings account, possibly your checking account, and if you have credit cards with that bank, guess what? They now have access to that as well. Now, at this point, you may be saying, well, how do they get money from my account? And this is actually very, very easy for these scammers. They'll use Zelle or other services to transfer money, and they'll send this money to another bank account that they created with stolen identities that they either stole themselves or they bought it from hackers on the dark web. And by the way, guys, sometimes the scammers won't even rip you off here. They'll instead bundle your information with hundreds of others and sell them as leads on the dark web, and then other online fraudsters will purchase this information in bulk and cash out on it. But this is where it gets easy for them. See, they can transfer money into another account that they created with stolen identity, and then they can use a debit card to withdraw cash from that account or purchase a bunch of gift cards on Amazon or something of the sort. They can even use the money to purchase Bitcoin, which is untraceable once it goes to their Bitcoin wallet. This all happens within 30 minutes of them having access to your account, and they will most likely keep you on hold while they secure your account, right? But while you think they're securing your account, they're actually ripping you off and draining your accounts. So this is how scammers can empty all the money in your savings account, your checking accounts, and even gain access to your credit cards and any lines of credit that you have at your bank. In just a few minutes, take all your money. Now, this video would be incomplete without me or with me just telling you about the scam, right? So now I have to tell you what you can do and what you should be doing to protect yourself. Now, the first step here is to never take calls from bots. If your bank wants to reach out to you, they won't use a bot to call you. Also, you want to verify the number that's calling you to see if it's actually from your bank. And even though you may do this, the scammers may still use spoofing, which is a way of calling from someone else's phone number. So they can actually use technology and spoof the bank's phone number and then call you, and the call and the number will show up as if your bank is actually calling you. So what I'd do is I'd say if you ever receive a phone call from the bank and they want you to give any information, I personally would suggest that you hang up, go into your online bank account, or call your bank directly and verify then. Also, never give your passwords out, your username, and if you really think about it, the bank doesn't need to know your password or username, and if they want you to reset your password, they'll never do it for you. They'll instead tell you to do it. So be very careful who you give your personal information to, because they can use it to hurt you in just a few minutes. If you are genuinely worried about getting your identity stolen and losing a lot of money, I would also recommend that you purchase identity protection, and most employers provide this at a lower cost, and in some plans you can pay maybe $1 or $2 per month and get up to $1 million in coverage if someone ever steals your identity and tries to rip you off and leave you in debt. Now, as always, there are a few variations with the scam and how fraudsters will try to pull this off, but as long as you're careful, you won't fall victim. Also, you should consider changing all your passwords once per year and never have the same password for multiple bank accounts, because if the scammer gets one password, then they'll be able to use it on all your online accounts. And there is a challenge for most people in creating good passwords that you can remember every year, especially when you have several accounts. And I've actually found a solution to that, and I'm going to share it with you guys right now. So most people will use a password safe, right? And that's great, but my issue with password safes are that they're online services and they can also get hacked. They get hacked all the time. Now, being in IT, I search for ways to secure my passwords offline where no one can access them, but you can't keep a book of passwords because that is not safe, and you also don't want to download the password safe on your computer because, again, you could lose your computer. It could easily get compromised. Sure, you can try to prevent it, but there are people who can gain access to your computer if they really want to, and I was searching for a way to keep random passwords safe where no one would find them and also no one would suspect, and I found this offline password safe on Amazon, and it costs less than $100, and this is probably the best investment you're ever going to make. The password safe looks like a calculator. Nobody's going to suspect that this is a password safe. This way you get to store multiple random passwords. You have one master password for the safe, and nobody is going to break into your house and steal your calculator, right? They'll most likely steal your laptop or MacBook with your digital password safe and then try to hack it later on. And so if you're looking for a very secure way to save a lot of random passwords, then be sure to click on the link below in the description. It's less than $100 and you could be saving yourself a lot of trouble by getting one of these offline password safes. Now, I hope this video helps someone out, and share this with anyone you think it may be able to help. And remember guys, very, very, very important now. As always, with any videos I do about scams, this video is for educational purposes only. Do not attempt this or you'll probably go to jail. Thanks for watching. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you like the content. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification icon so you get notified when I post new videos here. Check all the links down below in the description for free and helpful stuff. And I hope to see you guys tomorrow.